If you are about to buy a log cabin, or you're going to buy one next year, or you've already got one, then this is the video for you. Fully appreciate budget is budget, yeah? And what you can afford and what you want to spend, it is what it is, yeah? Understand that completely, yeah? But make sure you fully know what you're signing up to before you press the button on a 3, 4, 5, 6,000 pound log cabin, yeah? Okay, right, that's a log, yeah? That's a length of pressurised timber, big difference. But right, I'm currently writing a book and I think it's going to upset a few people, to be honest with you. I initially was posting a short video regarding the risks associated with a UK log cabin, yeah? But then the guy who actually installed log cabins, yeah, he commented on my post and he told me to be, and these were his words exactly, be mindful when I'm about to slag an entire industry of people and to stay in my lane. What does that mean, stay in my lane? Firstly, log cabins have their place, yeah? And if done correctly, they are all good. So there's no slagging off there, yeah? That's not happening. Secondly, my lane. What lane would that be exactly, yeah? I've been helping people build their own garden rooms for over 10 years now, informing DIY and trades, right? The techniques I use to build a garden room which is fully usable 365 days a year. So actually, informing people about the risks of log cabins is actually part of my lane. With almost 5,000 build packs sold to date, hundreds of YouTube tutorials, millions of hours watched, and hundreds and thousands of pounds of money saved by people building their own DIY garden rooms, I'd say I'm fully qualified to be any lane I choose, to be honest with you. And it's not me thinking I know it all, it's me who's made mistake after mistake, rectified them and improved on them, and sharing the knowledge with people out there so they can build their own successful garden rooms. I know more than most people when it comes to garden rooms, only because I've been doing it so long, right? And I've always been true to myself and told it like it is. If it's crap, I'll say it's crap. If it's good, I'll say it's good. If it's worth a mention, I'll give it a mention. What I am not is an influencer that will sell his soul for a failed product or a product with flaws. So let's get to it. Garden room structures fall into 3 categories. You've got a shed. A shed is a shed. You put your lawnmower in. If you look after it, maybe change the roof covering, give it a bit of treatment. It'll last you 10 years plus. Easy, no problem. But it's a shed. Secondly, you've got a summer house. A summer house is a garden building that is designed for use in the warmer months. There is generally no insulation, and if there is insulation, it is inadequate. They get hot in the summer, cold and damp in the winter, so they are genuinely seasonal buildings. It does what it says on the tin, yeah? It's a summer house, use it in the summer. So you've got a shed, you've got a summer house. And then thirdly, you have got a garden room. Garden room is a fully insulated, all year round usable structure. It can be used comfortably for 365 days of the year, and it can be used for almost any application. It generally will have heating, electric heating, it will have electric power points, it will have a rubber or a GRP roof, it will be plasterboard inside generally, or maybe like this one, lined with some kind of cladding, yeah? It's basically a mini house in your garden. So you've got a shed, you've got a summer house, and you've got a garden room. All 3 come with a massive different price point. So, where do log cabins fit into this? Log cabins sit in between summer houses and in between garden rooms. But if they're in between, they're over here with the summer houses, because without proper consideration to the build, it is a glorified summer house. For a log cabin to last, right, it has to be insulated and ventilated properly, or you are at risk of mould growth. Why are they at risk of mould growth, right? Let's look at AI for some real world data. On garden building forums, Money Saving Expert, Reddit, Facebook groups, places like that, the single most common problem with log cabins is mould and condensation. It also states that most companies that sell log cabins now sell insulation pack add-ons as standard because they get so many returns because of mould otherwise. Installers report that roughly 60 to 70% of call-outs are for condensation and mould related on non-insulated 28mm to 45mm cabins. That's AI. It's not made up, right? That is facts you can get off the internet on AI by yourself, yeah. It also states that a single skin 28mm to 48mm log cabin, that's 48mm, yeah, 48mm log cabin will almost certainly get mould and condensation within the first couple of winters. Like I said, AI, not me just plucking figures and numbers out of the sky. To the mould, we'll talk about how you can try and prevent this in a minute. First, let's ask why it happens, right? And why log cabins and summer houses are at such a risk. Number 1, massive cold bridging effect through the logs. Solid timber has a very poor U insulation value, yeah? Outside winter air temperature is typically between 0 to -8 in this country, right? And often 95 to 100% relative humidity level. Inside, if you heat just a little bit, or you're breathing, or you've got bodies in there, right, the inside air temperature will rise to between 12 to 20 degrees centigrade, right? So don't forget, yeah, you've got 0 to -8 outside in the winter. Inside, you've got a couple of bodies, 12 to 20 degrees, right? Massive temperature difference there, yeah, right? So this is us outside, yeah, we're real cold out there. Inside, we're breathing, yeah, we've got 12 to 20 degrees centigrade, yeah, and we've got 0 to -8, depending where you are in the country and what part of winter it is, yeah, right? So we've got outside, we've got inside, and we've got our log cabin wall here, yeah, right? So don't forget, you've got 0 to -8 out there, you've got 12 to 20 degrees in here, yeah? So the inside, which is facing me, yeah, is only 1 to 3 degrees above the outside temperature, because solid wood, which is this log cabin wall, yeah, it conducts heat quickly. Number 2, dew point condensation. Warm air inside the cabin, yeah, it holds a lot more moisture than the cold air outside. Typically in winter conditions, right, if you use the cabin at all in the winter, yeah, right, will be between 15 to 20 degrees centigrade and have a 50 to 70% relative humidity. This will give you 7 to 10 grams of water per metre cubed of air, right? So metre wide, metre high, metre deep, yeah, that's your cube of metre. You've got 7 to 10 grams of moisture in that cube of air. So we've got the outside, don't forget, this is the inside, yeah? When the air, all this air here with the moisture in, yeah, touches the internal log wall, yeah, it is then cooled down below its dew point. The air immediately condenses liquid water directly onto the cold logs, and anything that touches the logs, like the back of a sofa that's pushed up against the wall or anything like that, yeah, so the moisture in the air, yeah, it's turned directly into water as soon as it's touched the face of the cold log, yeah, and anything that's butted up against it. Now, wood is highly hygroscopic, yeah? I think that's how you pronounce it, hygroscopic, yeah? Once the surface gets wet from condensation, yeah, from the inside of the room, it's wet, yeah? Don't forget, outside is wet as well, yeah, because it's winter, yeah? Inside's wet, outside's wet. Once it gets wet, yeah, so the timber itself absorbs the water, yeah, and the moisture content shoots up from 12%, which it was before, yeah, right, to 20 to 30%. So this timber now has got 20 to 30% of moisture in it, yeah? Mould only needs wood moisture content, yeah, right, more than 20%, right? So don't forget, we've gone between 20 to 30 now, yeah, and a temperature between 0 to 25 degrees, right? So we've got a moisture content that's 20% or more, yeah, ticked one box, and we've got a temperature between 0 and 25 inside. We've ticked a second box, right? What have we now got? You've now got both. The perfect conditions for mould to grow. That is why your £4,000 log cabin, whichever way you want to paint it up, yeah, doesn't matter, right? £4,000 log cabin, yeah, in the British winter will have black mould patches behind the sofa, behind the furniture by February, right? While a proper insulated garden room with a vapour barrier in the same garden stays bone dry. The physics are brutal and unavoidable unless you break the cold bridge and control the humidity. So how can we stop or at least minimise the risk of mould build-up? And these are ranked in order, right? So number 1, right, full insulation and vapour barrier. So when you buy your garden room, right, if you're not getting insulation with it, you're not getting a vapour barrier with it, both of, yeah, right, you have got a problem or you are going to have a problem, right? That is number 1, right, to reduce the risk, yeah. Number 2, a proper raised foundation. Now, you'll see a lot of these companies that'll go, oh, I've got 44mm bearers on the floor. Well, yeah, so what? If it's not raised off the floor, they're gonna still soak up the moisture, yeah? So it needs to be raised, you need airflow into that building, right? Number 3, permanent low level heating, and I am talking between 10 and 12 degrees on a regular permanent basis. Number 4, good mechanical ventilation or a decent humidifier, right? And that humidifier needs to be left running from the months of October right through till April. They are the 4 top measures that you can take to reduce the risk of mould, right? If you do all 4 of these, you have beaten the physics that cause 90% of the complaints in the British log cabin industry. There are a couple of additional things you can do as well, right? Not as important as M4, but still important and will help you reduce your risk. Big roof overhangs on all 4 sides, right? So you'll see them sometimes. So they'll have like maybe a 400-500 roof overhang on the front. Yeah, very little on the side, maybe anything up to maybe 100, maybe some 150 mil. Yeah, but the idea is the bigger roof overhang, right? All you've got to do, right, is look at proper log cabins in North America. They have huge roof overhangs. The idea behind that is to keep the rain and the elements off the logs, to keep them as dry as possible. A breathable exterior wood treatment applied every 2 to 3 years will also help. Wall vents and gaps behind furniture. Don't push your furniture tight up to the wall, yeah? You need a minimum of 100 mil to allow the air to move and to flow around to prevent that cold, moist, damp atmosphere tight up to the wall. So you bought your log cabin, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 pounds, whatever you paid for it, yeah, right? And now you need to spend an additional 2 to 4,000 pounds getting it up to spec, right? So you're going to reduce the risk of mold massively. So worst case scenario, I mean, your 6 grand log cabin has now cost you 8, 9 grand. And it's not just the insulation, is it? Because once you put the insulation in, you want to cover that insulation with some kind of decorative board, a plaster board, plaster finish, skirting, painting, the list goes on, right? So you are pumping money into this building. Would it have been a better idea to build a proper garden room from the start? Maybe, but as I said at the beginning, budget is everything. And your budget will dictate your outcome. All I can do is give you the facts and you decide what is best for you. But know this, without active intervention, right, you will almost certainly get mold, right? And remember the facts, right? 70% of callbacks are for condensation and mold, right? Companies that are selling log cabins, right, they are now additional add-ons, right, that they are recommended insulation simply because, right, time has taught them that people are complaining because of the mold build-up, right? It is almost, not completely, it's almost guaranteed in this country because this country is prime time for mold build-up, right? You've got the wet, humid conditions, right? You're inside the building, you're breathing, you're producing heat and moisture, it's condensing on the wall, yeah? And then you've got your mold build-up. And don't forget, mold isn't just unsightly, yeah? It has got health risks as well. So there's the facts, right? If you're going to buy a log cabin, that's a log, yeah? That isn't a log. If you're going to buy a log cabin, there are the facts, there are the risks, and you can make that decision, right? I'm not even going to try and sell you a build pack. I'm just giving you a bit of information, that's all, right? It will be in my book, as will metal frame buildings, as will loads of different types of bases, timber construction, loads of different type roof coverings, everything like that will be in my book, yeah? I'm not trying to sell you anything, just try to help you out. So going back to yesterday, to the guy that told me to mind myself and keep in my lane, right? This is what I do. I help people. I show people how to build successful garden rooms that are going to last them a lifetime and that they can use 365 days of the year, yeah? Right? I'm not selling the product that you're going to walk away from, that'll look all right to them. 2 months down the line, 1 full year down the line, yeah? They've got mold, they've got problems, right? You're nowhere to be seen, right? And not only that, we have not even touched on the movement in these buildings, right? In the first 3 years, they can move, increase in height, up to 100 mil, would you believe? Up to 100 mil, right? Increase, shrink, expand, shrink, expand, shrink, expand. You're going to get gaps. You're going to get air coming in, right? Another problem, but that's a tale for another video, right? There you go. Not even trying to sell you a build pack, right? You build it how you want to build it, but make sure you know the facts.